It's finally working! It's a me, Mario! Not really. I just had to say the thing. For fun. My screen not recording. Hey, it's working finally. So Abiotic Factory is a game that I do play often with my friends. Not important right now, obviously, but Black Mesa. Let's set that single player. I mostly play on my other friends' saves. Alright, you're right. Hello.
Ah, you're stuck here too, eh?
Yeah, I am.
I came down locked in here for God knows how long. It'll be those fools
I can't show.
overreacting again.
Okay.
Looks like Jaeger's locked out. Typical. See if you can let him in. Maybe he knows what's happened. But take your time. He's insufferable.
Played this game about 1,000 times. And yes, I don't sleep. How can you tell? Boo da boo. Yeah, I don't need to do anything yet. Good early supplies. The good stuff. Oh, nothing in here yet. It's good. Get a chance. Mesas because I'm obsessed with it. With Half-Life. If I can ever figure out how to stream on a Steam Deck, I'll play that eventually. But kind of hard to do that on a Steam Deck. Why do I have just a Steam Deck, you may ask? I'm too broke to afford a PC, and the only viable option I really have available is either a pre-built, which could really suck ass, or the Steam machine, which could really suck ass. Okay, who am I kidding? It's Steam. They're gonna have quality, but at the same time, I don't want to spend $1,000 fucking dollars on a piece of technology I can't afford. It's about the budget. I'm broke as shit. I know. Surprise, surprise, the high school student is broke. Carbuncle. Pest. Shank, 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 shank. Got some food. And a shank. Nope. Take home. Shank. There you go, screwdriver. Shank. Shank. I like shanking. Bomb. Boom Bolt. I know that they updated this game recently, and I'm happy about that because this game is pretty fun. Damn you. I mean, not damn you, because I actually like pets as friends, but, like, damn you. Alright. Now let's also get down to the reason that I'm even making this stream, and that's to talk about future events, plannings, that kind of thing. I have a lot of games I need to finish. But I also have responsibilities to myself and my friends, and my work, and school. And damn, I have a lot on my plate. But the point is, I still have a responsibility to this channel, and I'm trying my hardest to do that. I've done my hardest to ensure that this channel has quality entertainment. And quality is not really a lot because once again, my budget is negative. So, don't expect much. But at the same time, I'm trying my hardest to ensure that everyone is having fun, and, you know, that's all I can really do. I wish I had a PC, but I can't, because I need money to do that. I don't have money. So, you know, if the best I can do right now is what I'm at, well, I ain't ashamed. There are a lot of games that I haven't finished, mind you. Death Stranding is one of the games I haven't finished. I am still planning on finishing that at some point. It's just, there's a lot on my plate. I also gotta finish Deltarune. I even rekindled that recently, so yay. Expect a bit more Deltarune content. Of course, I still need to actually get past Chapter 3, but that's for a different time. And then, of course, there's still my promise of beating every Devil May Cry game. Here's a bit of the problem with the Devil May Cry thing. There's not really a problem with it necessarily, it's just here's the thing. Devil May Cry is a series that has a lot, like 5 games, which may not sound like a lot, but it's kind of a big commitment.
Hello? Over here.
And after playing Devil May Cry 1, I need a bit of a break. Like, don't get me wrong, Devil May Cry 1 is a good game. I just didn't have the best experience with it. And I think that's mostly because I've never played a Devil May Cry game before. And that game was hard. I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was definitely not as bad as I was making it out to be at the time. Most of my complaints were justified, though. The platforming in that game sucked, and yeah, some of the voice acting was not the best. But it was the first Devil May Cry game, and I can kind of get why it is that way. It was the first game. They were still experimenting with the formula, figuring out what they wanted to do, and the first Devil May Cry game wasn't even supposed to be a Devil May Cry game. It was supposed to be a Resident Evil game. So, for what it was, I think they did a pretty good job. But here's the thing. I have been warned profusely about the second game. From friends, from fans, from literally my own family. Everyone I've talked to has said, skip Devil May Cry 2. And I know it's bad. Even worse, fixed camera angles. Bad combat. Bad balancing. Bad everything.
You going to leave me standing here?
I'll leave you standing there as long as I want, okay? You're gonna die anyway. But that's also why I kind of have. But I made a promise that I was gonna beat all the Devil May Cry games, and I'm gonna uphold that promise. It's just, for the love of God, give me a break here. I'm preparing myself for what is going to be Devil May Cry 2. Yeah, I know this is the recipe. As for a series that I do plan to continue, the Tarot series is one that I'm definitely going to continue. Being the spin-off, kinda, of my Pride and Joy, Into the Void. And I'll talk about that a bit, and right now, yes, it is an ARG. I've heard a few complaints that it doesn't seem like an ARG, or that it doesn't feel like one, but that's not, it's because it's not really supposed to feel like an ARG, if that makes any sense. There isn't a big bad, there isn't a villain, it's not some, it's not like that, because I feel like what a lot of people don't seem to understand is what an ARG is. When a lot of people hear ARG, they think horror or some kind of really, really, really overdramatic series. Something horrifying. Something terrifying, even. And I will admit, I did kind of also fall for that, because I did use... fucking angles right. But I did use a horror ARG as my first ARG, so yeah. But the thing is, that's not what Tarot is doing. It's not a horror ARG. It's something else. Something special to me, and I really like that. Because it's not trying to tell the story of some big or giant monster or something scary haunting a player. Because it doesn't really need to. The story isn't about facing your own kind of trauma and reflecting upon it. It's not an ARG that is focused on the horror aspects, but more or less focused on therapy, if it were. Kind of like how Dr. Nowhere has that analog therapy feeling where it's like, yeah, it's horrifying, but at the same time, it's giving you some kind of peace and understanding. That's kind of what I'm going for. But, you know, with less creatures and more pondering. Johnny is the main character. And yeah, I'd say he's doing a pretty good job. And you may be a bit confused on exactly what the plot is, but that's the point. It's an ARG, you're supposed to figure that out yourself. If I spoiled every plot, it would just be a story. And where's the fun in that? But yes, there is a plot going on. And, you may need a bit of viewer interaction in order to continue it. Hint, hint. That's right. There are multiple endings to this plot. But it's up to the viewer, whoever that may be, to find Johnny in the endless skies of No Man's Sky and to help him out.
Someone needs to sort this out.
Whatever. Johnny in the series is constantly asking himself why he's there, waiting for someone to give him an answer. Because truth is, he's just waiting for someone, anyone, to come and find him. I'll let you figure out the rest from there. That genuinely scared me. Huh. Anyway, let's take a step back from the ARGs and mysteries. That kind of rhymed. And let's focus on something else. All right. Well, I kind of lied, because this is about another ARG. This is about my series with my friends where we play Broken Script in Bedrock Edition. Yes, that is a thing. You can play Broken Script in Bedrock Edition. It's a bit janky.
You need to open the door.
And it doesn't work properly, but it is a direct port of Broken Script.
Just get it open.
You shut up. I'm getting there. It's not like you're gonna die. Okay, yeah, I was wrong. Alright. But the point is, in all this, is that I'm still here and I'm still trying to make content. I may finish some series sooner or later, but eventually I will finish all of them, okay? I don't care if it takes me 1,000 years. I'll do it. Eventually. Patience is key. I've learned that. But sometimes the best things you just have to wait for. Obviously, my content isn't the best. But, you know, I'm trying. With the tools I have, I'm trying.
Attention. Enhanced security protocols are now in
Look,
effect.
I don't know
Please locate
what's going
security
on.
personnel
They
and
don't
follow
tell me
evacuation
squat
procedures.
on a good day, and this isn't a good day. But
I'm dead.
if the big voice says get out, I'd do what she says.
Gravity.
Elevators are dead, so hit the main tunnel in manufacturing on level 2. There's maps over there. But me, I'm staying right here.
Anyway. I wonder where my stuff went. Oh. There we go. Well, What else is there to talk about, really? I mean, I'm trying to keep up with my content, but, you know how it is. Alright, let me talk a bit about my ARG, my pride and joy, Into the Void. And about the struggles of making it, because, I don't know. So, Into the Void is my pride and joy ARG that I made, and it's really kind of meh. I mean, I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but I did think I did pretty good for my first time. Ow, my ears. And on that note, I'd like to share some of the limitations I had. First of all, the editing software I was using at that time, and that I still use because it's my only editing software. Fucking Adobe Express. Like, I don't have a joke here, it's just not a good editing software. Don't use it. When I was making the final video, it crashed like 30 times. It crashed every time. I spent over a minute in it. So, pretty bad. And not to mention it was laggy as hell. Just don't use it, ever. Don't use it to edit a video. It's my only option for editing a video because I'm dirt poor, but it's bad. And I'm like 90% sure it gave my phone a virus. That's right, I have to edit it on my fucking phone too. You know how hard that is? Very. I mean, like, be glad you guys even got like a full video. There was a chance I couldn't even make a full video. Like, it was bad. So what else is there to really talk about here? Alright. I guess we could talk about that. I'm also playing on a PlayStation 5. Meaning, unlike all of you PC users... a bit rude. Unlike all you PC users, I can't use mods or custom assets or any of that stuff. I'm forced to use what I can do with my own two hands. And that may not sound like a lot. But you know, it's something. So not only can I not use mods, but I can't even play on... I can't play on anything but Bedrock Edition. Which, you know, that's one of the main struggles, but to be fair, I feel like the story makes up for the limitations in that aspect. Like, yeah, it's not perfect storytelling, but I think it's good enough for my first ARG. The villain is pretty interesting. Like, motives-wise, he's a bit mysterious, but at the same time, like, if you know his motives, it's still not a bad villain. Not to mention, he is just kind of... he's not even really a bad guy. And then there's the main characters, which I personally really like. I did my best acting as number 6, and also Johnny, and also myself. And pretty much anyone else that wasn't my friends. My friends did pretty good in their roles, which, to be fair, Everything was improv. There was no script. And that kind of shows during the final episode. But that's right, everything was improv. Improv? But right, yeah, it was improv. There was a bit of a script for the final episode, but my friend fucked it up. So that's why there's this sudden jump cut into number 6's death, is because there was this cue where it's supposed to say a line, and then he was supposed to do the /kill command on me. But that completely fucked up. And ended with what we got in the final cut. Man, I can't even tell what's going on. Oh, hey, my screen went. What? Hello? Okay, yeah. So that entire problem caused this weird jump cut, which, in my opinion, makes it look like number 6's head snapped. Like his neck snapped, but that's not what happened. It was supposed to be this dramatic, tense moment where, like, number 6 finally accepts that he's not going to be able to live to see the outside world and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people were wondering, particularly my friends, like, when did this come up? Like, when was it ever said that number 6 had to die? And truth is, that was not the original plan. The original plan was that number 6 wouldn't have died, but I do think that it kind of fulfills his whole character arc, is why I did it in the end. Number 6 wanted to be alive. He wanted to live his own life, make his own choices, be his own person, but he could never really do that in the end. And that's why he wants the Void King to do that for him. Which also gives the Void King a reason to not make with his evil plan. Is because someone actually tells him that he can be more than just the evil bad guy. At least that's what it was supposed to be. Once again, it wasn't very properly portrayed. But I'd say my friends did their best, and I did my best. There were also some plans that just weren't supposed to happen in the final few episodes. First of all, they weren't supposed to be in the void in the first place. Mad Muffin and the Cosmic Loaf weren't supposed to be in the void. You want to know why they were in the void? It's because my friend joined mid-fucking episode, and I couldn't edit it out because it seemed too enticing to turn into a goddamn plot line. So that's right. They wrote themselves into the story, forever changing what the final draft was. Because in the original final draft, it would have been a more open-end ending. Okay, so here's the original final draft idea that I had. When number 6 made it to the Void King, well, actually, he wouldn't have made it to the Void King, but he would have talked to the Void King throughout the episode through interruptions, which is kind of what happened in the final one, but that's besides the point. It would have been this interruptions, and then number 6 would get kicked out of the void. The Void King would be left to kind of bask in his sorrow. Or number 6 would have gotten tortured for eternity. it was gonna be the ending to I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. That is literally what the ending was going to be. I kid you not. The ending was gonna be the Void King traps number 6 in the void forever, torturing him for all of eternity, while he also sorrows in his own whatever. And then I thought to myself, yeah, this ending's way too dark. Like, I know I'm a kind of weird person, but this is just too dark for me. So I changed it to be something a bit more lighthearted. Something a bit more hopeful. Because that's what I wanted to end it off with, something hopeful. Because throughout this entire thing, it's always been themes of nostalgia and the past, but then I realized the message I'm trying to convey here is that don't look to the past, look to your future. Make more great memories. Not dwell on the past. Because what's the point of remembering if you can't make more of those kinds of memories? Right? And then it became a big philosophical dilemma. I will say, there was a lot of good comedy. I don't know if I like the meta aspect I added to it with my character. That was me being aware of a bunch of different ARGs and references and whatnot, because I mean that makes sense. And there are a lot of plot holes, don't get me wrong. Like, a lot of plot holes. Some of the fucking echoes don't make any sense. Like MJ, who's supposed to be the cool, calm, collected guy in the first few episodes, just does not act like that. He doesn't seem like that. And that's kind of everything that I have to really say about that. Mostly because, fun fact, it wasn't even supposed to be an ARG. Oh, now that's gonna shock a lot of you. That's gonna surprise a lot of you. That's gonna be shocking. But yeah, that's the truth. My ARG was never meant to be an ARG. It just turned into that. Originally, it was going to be what Rat Rants is. Speaking of which, I am planning on doing more Rat Rants. It's just I kind of slowed down on those because I wanted to focus more on other things. And Rat Rants just wasn't that great. But the point is, yeah, it was originally supposed to be just kind of videos where I shared my thoughts and feelings on things, and that was it. But then I decided, you know what? Why not turn this into an ARG? I thought it turned out pretty well. I'm someone who's done a lot of things. A lot of things I regret, and a lot of things that are questionable. But throughout all of my experiences in life, my biggest regret was I can't go back and do it again. I always had so much fun. But now I've got real responsibilities and no time for myself. But that's why the series exists. Because those responsibilities don't need to be a bad thing. Look to the future. Maybe scary, but at the same time, life's scary. So enjoy it. Every second. Love life. That's all I have to say. Anyway, back to problems. Yay. may seem like I'm ranting, and that is the truth. I am just kind of ranting. I could probably fit this into a rat rant episode. Besides the point. What else did I really not like about my ARG mic test done? Something I really didn't like about the ARG in the end was, and I kid you not, probably one of the biggest plot holes in the entire thing. And that was the fucking identity of number 6. Because it is so stupid, and yet it works, kind of. So here's who number 6 is. It's me. It's Cool Kai. It's the channel. It's the version of me from my childhood who was a character in the past, kind of like the other Echoes were characters from the past. Yeah, by the way, they were actual characters based on actual characters that I made for different parts. Also, yes, I know what noob seems like. God, I remember that. Listen, I was in middle school. It was not very good humor. I wasn't trying to make him sound like a, how do I put this? I was trying to make him sound like Patrick Starr, but that was kind of a mistake because he ended up sounding like a special needs kid. That's all I can really put it as. And he wasn't supposed to. I'm gonna admit that he was not supposed to. And I only realized that after I got into high school. That yeah, he sounds kind of like yeah, but he's not. I want to make that entirely clear. He's just based on the stupid dumb friend stereotype and Patrick Starr. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. I addressed that. May seem a bit controversial, but I did address that. I made a lot of stupid mistakes when I was a kid. I'm saying it like I'm an adult now. Not fully, at least, but I'm getting there. I'm getting older. But that's what I'm trying to say is just everyone makes mistakes. Don't judge me for something I did in middle school. We all did weird stuff in middle school. And in the end, I thought it ended up pretty well. And yes, every world that was in that series is a real world. They all have their own lore, and yes, I did make up a bunch of shit. But also, I think it works out well. Because, truth be told, these are all real worlds from my past. From my past experiences with Minecraft. That's right. Every single world shown in this ARG was a world that I originally created. Where me and my friends played Minecraft. Where we had fun. So truth be told, it's pretty cool. Because these worlds aren't just made for this ARG like a lot of worlds are. They are lived in. They feel lived in because they were lived in. They were real worlds. Worlds that, well, enhanced it, I feel like. Because it's one thing to claim that they're a memory of the past, but when they really were a memory from your past, that's something different. I think the only world that I had special made for the ARG was the final one, which was the popular MMO Zarina. Yes, I know, you may think I'm sounding crazy right now, but that's the truth. That's the only one I had special made. The rest of them were pre-made. I'm just kidding. The rest of them were made before is what I mean. I'm bad with words. I'm dyslexic or something. I don't know. I might actually be dyslexic. I'm not even making that up. I know I'm kind of self-diagnosing here, but to be honest, I've always kind of struggled with words. Just the way I'm wired. Okay, but the point is, I put a lot of my heart and soul into this ARG. From both my past, my friends' pasts, everything. Like, that's kind of why I made it. Is to explore those ideas. To explore nostalgia. To explore those feelings that you get when you visit an old place that you feel like you haven't seen in a long time. Like your grandma's house or your old childhood home. You know? It's a feeling that you just can't replicate without actually experiencing those places first. And part of the mystery is what happened in those worlds. What events transpired to make them the way they were. You may never know, but that's also kind of the point. Because they're my memories, my friends' memories. We know what happened. But that's why it's so entertaining to see. It adds another layer of the mystery. Apart from all the spooky stuff. Because these worlds were real. They were lived in, they were loved. And they were abandoned for one reason or another. Almost like that's the point. You may think, why abandon worlds in the first place? Don't I have a forever world? But the truth is, a lot of people don't. Even most of the toughest Minecraft players don't. Think back to all the players and classic Minecraft YouTubers who can. Those worlds are a legacy. One that will be forgotten eventually. But now there's someone that can remember them. If only hypothetically. That was always the point. Memories are beautiful. You can't ever take them for granted. But you can't live in them either. You gotta be you. No matter what. Honestly, I really liked it. I really did. Oh, man. Now I'm getting emotional over the ending of my ARG. But that's a good thing. It's good. And there's still puzzles that people haven't solved yet. I'm waiting for someone to come along with some kind of weird fucking theory YouTube video or something and solve all those puzzles. Man, I wonder. Maybe I'll even get a spot up with the big leagues. Ah, I doubt it. My ARG's too small for that. It's, not large enough. Damn. Nah, but, jokes aside. Oh, man, what if Weefies covers it? Ooh, that'd be good. Nah, but I'm probably not. I mean, right now I haven't even busted through the quadruple digits, so most likely no one's ever going to cover it. Like many others, it'll be forgotten in time. I add this to the playlist. Yeah. I may make a larger video going in depth behind the scenes with my friends about everything in that. So, we'll talk about that later. But this is mostly just kind of a little peek behind the scenes of the struggles I had to go through. And I'll definitely have a discussion with my friends eventually. Alright. See you next time. I don't even know why I'm doing an outro. Who the hell even watches the outros? Yeah, but bye. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.